Okay, so this is the 2012 question 7. It's part 2 of the 2012 paper 2. Ordinary level, okay. Now, so we're going to get is in a survey 1,500 people were asked which national radio station they normally listen to. The results of the survey are given in the table below. Okay. Now, the results of the survey are given in the table below. How many people surveyed did not listen to the national radio station? Okay. So what we realise is 1,500 people are surveyed. So we get 1,500 people. We take away 375 for RT1. We take away 195 for Today FM. Take away 120 for News Talk, 45 for Lyric, and 165 for 2FM. So just put this directly into the calculator. And what we get is 600 people. Okay, so 600 people had no national station, alright? Now, relative frequency, okay, so we go to part B, complete the table above. This one here is going to be 195 out of 1,500. Because you put down how many people RTE over the total. So 375 out of 1,500 did RTE, 195 out of 1,500 did Today FM, 120 out of 1,500 did News Talk, 45 out of 1,500 did Lyric FM, 165 out of 1,500 did 2FM. Okay, and 600 out of 1,500 did no station. Okay. Now, what we got to do next is we got to do the relative frequency as a decimal. So what the relative frequency is means just put this into your calculator and find out what the decimal is. Okay, so just keep going down and you'll see what the decimal of each one is. Okay, so we get 375 divided by 1,500, 0.25. The next one is 195 divided by 1,500, 0.13. Okay, this next one's already done for you. 120 divided by 1,500, 0.08. 45 divided by 1,500 equals 0.03. 165 divided by 1,500, 0.11. And finally 600 divided by 1,500 is 0.4. So we can see 0.4 is quite a large amount. If you were to put these into percentages, it'd be 25%, 13%, 8%, 3%, 11%, and we can see this here is 40%. Okay, so when you add up all these, we should get 100%. Okay, now find the sum of the relative frequencies written as fractions. Find the sum of the relative frequency written as fractions. So add them all up as fractions. Okay, the relative frequency is fractions. So you get 375 over 100 plus 195 over 100 plus over 1,500. Excuse me. 195 over 1,500. So the sum means add all the relative frequencies together, okay, and write them as fractions. So 195 over 1,500, 120 over 1,500, plus 45 over 1,500, plus 165 over 1,500, and finally plus 600 over 1,500. And what we're going to get here is we're going to get 1,500 divided by 1,500, because when you only add the top. When you're adding fractions, you only ever add the top. So you just add the top part here, and what we get is 1,500 over 1,500 equals 1. Now find the sum of the relative frequencies written as decimals. So what we gotta do is we gotta do 0.25, 0.25 plus 0.13 plus 0.08 plus 0.03 plus 0.03 plus 0.11 plus 0.4. Add them all up and put them all into the calculator, and what you'll get is your answer is 1. Now, Jackie wrote down the relative frequencies as percentages. She found their sum to be 80%. Do you think her calculations are correct? Give a reason for your answer. The answer is no. Reason is this 1 equals 100%, right? So it should add up to 100%. All the relative frequencies added together should equal 100%. Okay. Now, next part. Dennis looked at the data and said, I can find out how many people in the survey normally listen to the radio. Do you agree or disagree with Dennis? Explain your answer. Dennis looked at the data and said, I can find out how many people in the survey normally listen to local radio. Do you agree or disagree with Dennis? So local radio. So it depends on what they mean by local radio, okay? So what Dennis is talking about is local radio. Local radio means not national radio, okay? So not national radio. So these stations here are national radio stations. And what Dennis thinks is that by taking this away, he can say that 600 people listening to local radio stations. But he can't say that because they may not listen to the radio stations at all. Because out of the 600, who don't listen to national radio, some might not listen to any radio. Might not listen to any radio. Okay. Question 8. Jack rolls a fair die and spins the spinner as shown. Complete the table, listen to possible outcomes, okay? So you can get 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. You have 2A, you roll a 2 on the dice, an A in the spinner. 2B, 2C, 2D. So basically, the dice has 6 outcomes. The spinner has 4 outcomes. 6 multiplied by 4, you're gonna have 24 different results. A 4 and an A, a 4 and a B, a 5 and a C, a 6 and a D. You have all these outcomes, okay? So you just gotta fill out this table. 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 6C, 5C, 4C, 3C, 3D, 4D, and 5D. How many possible outcomes are there? As we said, 6 from the dice, 4 from the spinner is 24. Alternatively, just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 in each one. So 6 by 4. Just count all the different results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So you can see there's 24 different results, okay? So 24 different results. Okay, next one. How many outcomes consist of an odd number and big? So odd numbers and big. So 1, 2, 3. 3 outcomes. Okay, so 3 outcomes or 3 results come out with odd number and big. What's the probability that an outcome will contain an even number? Let's count how many even numbers there is. Okay. So even numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 out of the 24. Put that into your calculator, guys. Make sure you get the lowest fraction possible. It's going to be a half. Okay, next one. The 4 angles are shown below. Write in a space which angle is straight, so acute, obtuse, right, or reflex. This is a right angle. This one here is an acute angle. Acute angle means it's less than 90 degrees. It's a sharp angle. Obtuse means it's more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So this is obtuse. And finally, a reflex angle is greater than 180 degrees. And we can see this angle here is much bigger than 180 degrees. So this is the reflex angle. Okay, next part. Write down each angle shown, empty box. Alright, so what we got to remember is, if you see an X, this one equals this one, and this angle here will equal this angle here. The other thing you're looking for is an N. So, or N or Z, where you have something like this, and what you can say is that this one here, this is what's called opposite angles. Opposite angles, this one here is alternate. An alternate basically means this angle here equals that one there. And then finally, you have what's called corresponding angles, where if we have an angle like this, these two here will equal each other. This here is corresponding. Okay. Now, you can see it's opposite each other. We give that 70. Now, this angle here has to add up to 180 degrees because it's a straight angle. So this means that it's 180 minus 70, which is going to get me 110 degrees. Let's look for our Z's now. Alternate angle maybe. We go from here to here, here to here, here to here. That's going to be an alternate angle, and that'll give me 70 degrees. Another straight angle, that'll give me 110. And then finally, if you want to go corresponding, this one here has to be 110 because it's opposite or corresponds to this one here. Okay. Next question. The diagram shows the letter F on the coordinate plane, which is just this here. Draw the image of the letter F under axial symmetry in the y-axis. Axial symmetry means basically like a mirror. Okay, so if you imagine the y-axis here is basically like a mirror. Okay, so we have to go at the same amount. So B is 2 away. So what happens to the B is it goes 1, 2, goes through the mirror, 1, 2. This here is B dash. Okay, the C goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is C dash. Okay. A goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, Next thing you gotta do is you gotta count how many blocks you gotta go to the left. So this one is 1, 2, 3. This is 6 long. This one is 4 long. This one here is 4 blocks long. And this one here is also 4 blocks long. So all you gotta do now is just count how many blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally join it down, and you have your opposite of you have a mirror image basically, right? Axial symmetry in the y-axis. Once we do is write down the coordinates b and c. Now remember about coordinates is that it's b here, it's -1 to the left and 5 into the air, and c is -2 to the left and 3 into the air. So -1, 5 and -2, 3. So -1, 5 and -2, 3. Okay. Now what we're asked to do next is find A, B, C are mapped onto A dash B dash C dash under the transformation above. What this means is that A, it's basically saying that the transformation we did up here, this is the transformation it's talking about. This is where all of them have been mapped onto. Okay. So find the coordinates of A dash, B dash, and C dash. Right. So A dash is going to be 4, 1, 4 to the right, and 1 into the air. So A dash is 4, 1. B dash is 1 to the right and 5 in the air, so 1, 5. And C dash is 2 to the right and 5 into the 3 into the air, so it's 2, 3. Okay. So B dash is 2, 3. Oh, sorry, 1, 5 equals 1, 5, and C dash equals 2, 3. Okay, so that's more or less these ones done. So here we go. 4, 1, 1, 5, 2, 3. Okay. Now, what we do now is have a look at the next question. A boat travels due north from A for 30 minutes at 20 kilometers an hour. It reaches B and then travels due east for 24 minutes at 10 kilometers an hour. It's then at C. So it travels up and then across. How many kilometers has the boat traveled? So what we got to say is that the boat here, 20 kilometers an hour. Okay, so you got to do distance equals speed multiplied by time. And what you can say is the speed when it's going up to A is going to be 20 kilometers an hour. Now multiply by, it's only for 30 minutes, okay? So it's got to be 30 minutes out of 60, which is basically a half an hour. And that's going to give you 10 kilometers, okay? And then for the second part, so it's 10 kilometers from A to B. So A all the way to B is 10 kilometers. For part 2, she then travels due east at 10 kilometers for 24 minutes. So same thing as last time. The speed is going to be 10, but the time is now 24 minutes out of 60. So 10 multiplied by 24 divided by 60, and that's going to get you 4 kilometers. Okay, so you go 4 kilometers to the right. Now, on the diagram, draw a segment that shows the shortest distance from C back to A. If you want to go from C back to A, what you need to be doing is you need to go from C all the way back down to A. And that's your shortest distance. Now guys, because this is now a right angle triangle, because it goes directly north and directly east, so this is at 90 degrees to each other, okay? So next thing goes, use Protagonist Theorem to calculate the shortest distance from C to A, give your answer correct to the nearest meter. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to say basically Protagonist Theorem. Okay, so if I was to make a smaller triangle here, maybe one like this. Okay, and just going to rotate this around to make it look like the one we just had there a second ago. So if I was to say this is it here, and this is 10, and this is 4, and this is x. Okay, so what we can do here, so 10, 4, and x. Okay, so we're just going to work out it using Protagonist Theorem now. And that the codes is A, B, and C. Now the thing to remember about Protagonist Theorem is it's the longest side, which is the hypotenuse, which is x squared, equals the other sides squared and added together. So x squared is therefore going to equal 100 plus 16. X squared is going to equal 116. X is now going to equal the square root of 116, because you have to think of what number multiplied by itself gives you 116. So root 116, and what you get there is 10.77. And to the nearest meter, we round up to 11 meters. Okay, that concludes this part 2 of this paper. Well, it doesn't conclude, it concludes the second video of this paper.